Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be trying out the e.l.f. Camo Powder Foundation for you guys. So if you guys would like to see my thoughts and how the foundation performs and this makeup look, then just keep watching. So I'm filming in the spot that I started out my YouTube channel. In 3 years ago, this will probably be out after it's been like my 3-year anniversary on YouTube. I can't believe it. I can't believe it's been 3 years, but it's been so fun and I love doing it, and I hope to just continue doing it. And thank you for everyone that's been following me and who subscribed like right in the beginning. It's so amazing when I see you guys comment about like just starting out with my channel. I really appreciate it. All right, let's get into the foundation. So I am going to try just priming half of my face and seeing what it's like with some primer underneath. The Camo powder foundation says that it is camouflages imperfections and even out skin tone with primer infused foundation. The lightweight powder is finely milled to provide long-lasting and buildable coverage for a full coverage semi-matte finish. So because it says it's primer infused, I just want to see what it's like one side versus the other. So I'm just going to use the Luminous Putty Primer and put that on half of my face. I got the foundation in the shade 310 medium. It is a little darker for me right now for the summertime. I think it'll be perfect, or when I have like a good amount of self tanner on. But I did kind of swatch it on my cheek yesterday and it does buff out nicely. So I'm not going to use the sponge because you get like such a saturated application using the sponge. So I'm just going to use my Real Techniques buffing brush just to try and build it up, and like then I can blend it out. And once it was blended out on my skin, it was fine. It was just that initial swatch with the sponge that was just so saturated and just looked really off. And I kind of swatched it on my hand as well. And as I was just kind of buffing it in, it did have like this creaminess to it. Like even on my face, it felt a little tacky. So for a powder foundation, it wasn't really drying. So I think that's where the semi-matte comes from. So let's just go in, and it does kind of give you some fallout in the pan. So let's just see. Yeah, this is a much better application. So just use like a nice buffing brush to apply this, because the sponge is just a little too much. Like I was able to kind of buff it out on the skin afterwards, but it's always nice to kind of build as opposed to trying to blend out. So this is the side with no primer. And you can see that it gives you like a nice coverage, and you can just keep building it up. I'm going to go on the neck. Out of all the powder foundations that I've tried so far, like just swatching it gave me like a great first impression, and like probably that I'm really going to love it. Like it just even gives you a little bit of luminosity as well. And I think if you wanted that really full coverage, you could go in with a sponge, but that is not something that I look for. Let's go into the primed side and see if that makes a difference on the foundation. It looks like it's picking up a little bit more pigment. I think I like the way it blended out. Like it's harder to tell on camera, but I think I like the way it blended out on the side without any primer. Like it was just kind of buffing in nicely, I think, just with that little bit extra product on the skin. It kind of will grab maybe a little bit darker in one spot or a little lighter in another, and it's harder to kind of get that to blend through together. Yeah, definitely from what I'm seeing, like it's hard to see on camera, but there's just some areas that kind of grabbed a little darker, and I think I like it better just blending it out on its own and having nothing underneath. All right, it is looking beautiful so far, both sides. Just a little bit of blending difference, but it doesn't look powdery on the skin whatsoever. Like it looks like just kind of like a tinted moisturizer on the skin, and I'm just finding that even if you keep building on top of it, it does not come off powdery at all. Like it just blends so nicely on top of each other. Sometimes like when you keep adding layers of a product, like it'll start to pick the product up, but it's not, it is not settling into my fine lines at all. Like it's just blending over top so nicely. Now I'm gonna go in with the camo concealer and see how that blends in with the product. I saw that this came into Walmart, so I was like, sweet, we have it in store now. But they were all sold out, so when I was at the superstore, I saw that they had a couple of them, so I grabbed it. They even, I think they had the CC camo concealer, like cream foundation, so I wouldn't mind trying that as well. So I'm just gonna go right into the corner, and that is all. Just kind of lighten up the inner corner. Been doing this lately, keeping it away from the fine lines on the outside of my eyes and just blending it down here where there's less wrinkles. Yeah, it seems to be blending out just fine over top of the foundation. Now I'm gonna go in with the e.l.f. Contour palette and just buff a little bit of this on and see how it pairs with this powder contour. I'm just gonna take a small dome brush and just start making circular motions up by the top of my cheekbone and then coming down under my cheekbone. So this nice cool tone is mimicking the shadows on my face really well. It's always nice to have like that contrast of cooler tone for your contour and then warmer for your bronzer, because you really just want to mimic the shadows on your face, and the shadows on most of our faces are like a cooler tone, no matter what your skin tone is. Like even in art, shadows always have a cool undertone to them. just to blend that through even more, I'm taking the buffing brush that I used for the foundation and just going over it. If you're finding that your contour is a little too cool, you can always kind of do that with whatever foundation you use. Just buff it over, just so you don't have any harsh lines and it doesn't look like it's sitting on top of the skin. You're kind of pressing those shadows in underneath the foundation. Now I'm going to go in with the warmer tone in the palette and a fluffier brush and just go on top of my cheekbones and just pressing it kind of all over just to blend it through. Gonna keep it super simple with the eyes and just go in with this warm beige tone. This is from the Madison Beer palette. Just gonna blend that on the outer corner of my brow bone. Follow it along to my nose. You could totally just use a bronzer for this too. Now I'm going to go under my eye as well with that shade. And with the light cream shade, I'm just going to use a flat brush and pat that down onto my lid. In the outer corner and up in the crease as well, just to brighten it up. I'll just put a little bit of eyeliner and mascara on. Now I'm going to go in with the NYX Sweet Cheeks Matte blush in the shade Summer Breeze and a really fluffy brush because this blush is very pigmented. So far, like every powder, everything's blended in so nicely with the foundation, the powder foundation, so I'm really liking it. I will leave any comments in the description box later on if I have any issues with the foundation during the day. And I'm going to bring you guys into the natural light too, just to see it without the ring light. All right, this is the final look. I just put a little bit of the e.l.f. lipstick on in the shade Natural. Love this one. So I'm just going to bring you guys over to the big window to get some more natural. All right, this is the foundation in the natural light. It's coming up a little bit lighter on camera, but I think it looks so good and just blended in so nicely, not looking powdery at all, and all the products blended with it so well. All right, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys again soon.